In secret final interview, Jamal Khashoggi says only Bernie Sanders was willing to stand up to Saudi Arabia.
Here's a summary of the article.
Jamal Khashoggi, the Washington Post columnist who was brutally killed in the Saudi Arabian consulate in Turkey, gave a secret last and wide-ranging interview to Newsweek's Rula Jebril. The transcript of the interview was unpublished up until yesterday when Newsweek reported about Khashoggi's thinking on the reforms carried out by Saudi Arabian Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, as well as on Khashoggi's belief that the only important American political leader who was calling to put more pressure on Saudi Arabia was Bernie Sanders. The New York Times, citing an audio recording of the incident, reported that Khashoggi had been dismembered at the consulate, with one of Saudi Arabia's most known forensic experts leading the task to get rid of the body. Saudi Arabia admits #Jamal Khashoggi was killed inside its Istanbul consulate. Saudi says he was killed in a fist fight when a brawl broke out with people he met there. Saudi sacks 2 senior officials and arrests 18 Saudi nationals over his death. And in light of the likely Saudi murder of critic Jamal Khashoggi, I think it is time for us to thoroughly re-evaluate that relationship. Saudi Arabia is, and has always been, a despotic dictatorship in which dissent is not tolerated, in which women are considered third-class citizens and which has spent the last several decades exporting an extreme form of Islam, Wahhabism, around the world. Now Khashoggi's last interview published in Newsweek shows that the journalist desired for more American leaders to become tougher with Saudi Arabia and that he admired Sanders for standing up to the Middle Eastern country. First of all, there is no political movement in Saudi Arabia that could pressure him. Number 1, Khashoggi said about the possibility of combining the extreme view of Islam that Saudi Arabia espouses with its king's newfound intent to liberalize society.
This post received a score of 77,241, with an upvote ratio of 77%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Despite ample signs of the extreme brutality of Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman and his regime, I could never have imagined we would so soon be reflecting on Jamal's death. He wanted only reform, he wanted a better Saudi Arabia. He was almost mournful as he confessed how he had tried, in vain, to advise the young Crown Prince, known as MBS, to choose a different path and open up Saudi civil society. Jamal saw through the hype when many in Washington were willing to buy the fable the young prince was selling. Playtime is over for the Crown Prince of Public Relations.
I feel sorry for Op. Bernie Sanders in the title has all sorts of trolls and shills coming out talking about BLM interrupting his event that one time, or in their words, crooked DNC. What about ism and false dichotomy? Which has nothing to do with the content that you so kindly copy-pasted all over this thread. Thank you.
Op had to know that was what was going to happen though. You haven't been able to make a post with Bernie Sanders in the name for 2 years without that happening.
Why does MBS not see that part of reform? Khashoggi said. Because it will limit his authoritarian rule, and he doesn't want that. He doesn't see the need for that. So sometimes I feel that he wants to enjoy the fruits of first world modernity and Silicon Valley and cinemas and everything, but at the same time he wants also to rule like how his grandfather ruled Saudi Arabia. Interviewer: that doesn't work. You can't have it both ways. Khashoggi: he wants to have it both ways. Interviewer: this is what I'm trying to understand. Can you have it both ways? Khashoggi: first of all, there is no political movement in Saudi Arabia that could pressure him, number 1. And the world is happy with him. Do you see anybody in America except for Bernie Sanders who is calling for putting pressure on MBS? I only saw Bernie Sanders, but no one else.
It should have been Bernie.
Brit here. Bernie was a talking point for months at work between me and my mates. It was clear he was the best for the role, America, but clear he wasn't getting in.
I've actually been following Bernie since the 90s, he has been on message since the beginning of his career, and for that, the DNC cannot forgive him. They want the choices to be cancer versus cancer light, and when Bernie shows up shouting common sense from the rooftop, then the two parties, and both coerced by the wealthy ruling masters to shut his banana stand down before people notice what he pointing out there for everyone to see.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.